Okay, so I did a video uh yesterday. This is not looking right. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the how this looks because you're not seeing me properly. Anyway, I did a video talking about the recent situation ship that I was in, and I wanted to set the record straight. I don't know, the lighting is bad. Let me just try. Hold on. I do have a ring for videos, but it's away. I gotta get everything together. But I wanted to do another video because what I realize is because my brain works quickly, I speak fast, and I need to slow down. I did a video earlier, and it was I watched it back, and it was even hard for me to get all the details. So I'm just gonna be very brief and very to the point with my point of this video. This video was to set the record straight in relations to the business I was helping and my perceptions about what's happening around me. My family, my family saw me as being kind. No, they saw me as being nice and therefore stupid. Um, I just didn't know how wicked my family was until this past year. Okay, the gentleman that I was helping, I was helping with his business. He was sent, probably paid by my family. This is what I believe. I don't know for sure, but I know that my family knew him. They, for whatever reason, were trying to paint me as being crazy. And for a while, they were doing it um, and enjoying it. I could tell. Um, the gentleman that I was helping with, so the video that I did earlier about how I met this gentleman that I was helping, I had to put it in private because I didn't think it did it did me justice. It wasn't clear. I wasn't speaking slow enough for even me to get the details of it. Let me see. All right. So in 2000, I think it was, um, be- before the pandemic, I had went through a wilderness period where my mother had thrown me out of this house with even without my shoes on. I had, I don't know, a bag. She told me I need to leave, and I had nowhere to go at that time. And I think what she was thinking that I would go to a shelter, but I had previous experience with a uh, women's battered women's shelter that I knew that I was somehow targeted by people in positions of authority, that they weren't going to treat me well no matter where I went. So got two officers came to this house and put me outside without my shoes. I didn't have any time to put my shoes on. Later on, my daughter had got me shoes, and it was it was crazy. It was a crazy time. I just could not believe that my mother would do this. Anyway, um, fast forward, I ended up back at my mom's place after a period of like some very disrespectful and horrific, humiliating things that had happened to me at the hands of my family. Anyway, during this time where I was at my mom's, I was guided by the Lord to continue with this channel. So I continued to, and I wasn't too sure exactly what I was to post, but somehow it was about sharing my experiences. That's what I was led to believe that I was supposed to be doing. So I would go to the university college that I went to for nursing, and was just close to my mom, not too far, and I would edit videos there. One day on my way to that university, a gentleman approached me in a car, and he told me that he had seen me before, and the Lord led him to stop So he was on his way back from church, and the Lord led him to come back and approach me. This is what he's telling me. So I said, okay, whatever. He gave me his business card, and I said, okay, thank you. And I'll continue to walk. 'Cause he's not the first, the second, or the third person to ever approach me this way. Many gentlemen had approached me this way in my walk because I walked a lot, right? I didn't have a vehicle, access to a vehicle at the time. So he insisted that he would drive me to where I was going. And when I got in the vehicle, he bypassed the place I was supposed to go and insisted that we're going to go for lunch. So we went for lunch. I entertained it. And during that lunch, he he talked about his walk and his relationship with God, things that happened to him, and how the Lord led him to me. All the stuff about God, like overly over the top about God, almost preachy and a little bit annoying. Anyway, we had the lunch, and then again he decided he had a customer to see, and he asked if I could come with him. So long story short, in that regard, we spent the day, pretty much the rest of the day together. I didn't have a chance to do my video. I was supposed to edit a video and upload it to the channel, and he he had given me some money, which at that time was a big deal. I hadn't had income for a while. I wasn't in a position to do anything to manifest anything in relations to money coming in the way that I had been before. I was a professional, working in a professional capacity, and to swiftly and abruptly be removed from that was hard. Anyway, I ended up staying or getting to know him. That evening, he didn't take me to his home. He took me to a hotel. He took me to a hotel, and that might sound risque, but he talked about being a Christian. And I guess in my naivety, I believe that because he said that he was sincere. But anything, when I look back in retrospect, anything could have happened to me. So ridiculous. But for whatever reason, trust that nothing would have happened, right? So we talked. He bought more food, which was so against what many things were red flags for me. One, I was living a fasted life, so I would eat every fourth day. Like I would fast for 4 days and I would eat. And I may eat for 2 days and then go back and fast again. My body was used to this. Meeting him, I'd eaten lunch with him, and then I had gone again and had pizza. My body was just like the food wouldn't even digest. It was like up to here. So anyway, red flags all over the place because everything that I stood for, he was going against. Hadn't edited my video. I was eating food that I really don't typically eat, and I was eating an abundance of food, and I wasn't used to eating that much food in one sitting. I mean, in one day, I'd eat once a day, and I'd eat every fourth day, right? Anyway, I ended up getting to know him, eventually getting to meet his family. And he would leave me at his place and say I could do my videos there or whatever, and he'd go to work. One day he came and announced that he needed my assistance. He needed an extra hand. So I went to his work to see what he did because I wasn't too sure what he did, and I helped out. It became apparent that I can work hard, but I also learn fast. So he also showed me how to do invoices and decided that he kept on telling me, or he let it be known to me, that I was valuable to him, that he could see him using me for the business, and that he could pay me. So ching right there. I hadn't been paid and got money in a long time. I knew the Lord had led me to understand that I was owed something. Something was coming to me. I thought at the time it was something to do with my work because I had worked at this job, or my job at the board, for 15 years and didn't get a severance pay, nothing. They just let me go, and and didn't pay me anything. Um, my union, the union leader said, "How is this possible?" She basically said that somehow I had said I didn't want anything. I don't know who would leave a workplace and not want anything. So anyway, I left my work. They told me that I was fired. That's another long story, and I had no severance pay, nothing to reflect the years I had put into this company. which is a government company anyway. So anyway, fast forward, he decided he's going to pay me. So I'm thinking, okay, great. At least I can buy, soap, toothpaste. I can, I don't have to worry about how those things are going to happen. Knowing fully well this is not what God called me to do. This has not anything to do with my calling, but I knew that he proclaimed to be of God, and I at that time believed him because I had no idea that so many people were into witchcraft that were in the church. I had no idea at this point. I just knew that the Lord removed me from church, and I thought it was personally about me as opposed to the light in me and the people in the church being of darkness. I had no idea. Anyway, we worked, and I was excited to be able to use my skills and to help build his business. Little did I know I was racking up some resentment in him, that he resented the fact that I could learn well, that I was strong, that I could do all these kind of things. And instead of being the feeling that he had or expressed about being for me and being for me and being appreciative of me became him resenting me and competing with me, right? And the longer that I helped with this business, the more that he became sort of like he said, have talk about almost claiming me. He almost talked as though he and I were in a relationship. And I said to him that I could never marry him. So therefore, there's no point in being in a relationship. I could never marry him because he'd been married many times. There is much more other red flags besides that, but he and I were never in a relationship. We worked together. It was a work relationship. Um, Lines were skewed, and those lines that were skewed because of force. They were forced. I don't know all that he was saying, but all I know is that my presence there brought him a lot of tension from women seem to want men who are taken. This is what I believe. And so he during the time that I was helping with this business, he had a lot of relationships. So I don't know how he could have ever thought, first of all, I didn't see this. And that too, that I would want to be with someone who gave me nothing, that everything that I did get was earned. It ends up being that he saw my value and what I could do, and he was greedy. So he would work me to the bone, have me do things that I knew for the business to thrive had to be done, and then he would just hand over whatever he wanted to hand over to me. This became a cycle, and it got worse. And the more that people saw me with him, it drew attention to the business. And he the business that we were doing was related to companies shipping product in and out of the country, or shipping product from here to there in containers. um so I was able to do the paperwork, I was able to do the accounting for the business, I was able to drive the truck, I did everything, I learned how to do everything. So I knew I was an intricate part of the business. So at some point, I became emotionally involved, and I felt that somehow if I walked away, that it would damage the business, that the business would be harmed if I was gone, because I had become an intricate part in how the business ran. But he started making statements like he doesn't need me. Why am I always here? Like he was bipolar. One minute he was saying that, please come back, I need you. And then when I come back, he'd act like he didn't need me to be there. So I knew there was something weird going on. Anyway, the bottom line is that I was fully aware that he was entertaining many women. He was never my partner, never my man, never my boyfriend, never my fiance, never my husband. But for whatever reason, he was claiming that behind my back. And not only was he claiming that behind my back, but he was claiming it in a derogatory way. So basically, saying that the idea in a nutshell is that I claim him as my partner, but he has no respect for me, is what it was presenting. And I want to make it very clear that I'm a very emotionally grounded person. I have intellect. I have intelligence. And if someone doesn't come to the table with those things and integrity of character, which means being honest, being kind, there's no relationship there. I will entertain people, but there's no relationship. So now what I've learned in my healing journey is that I will no longer entertain people who do not reflect my morals and my values. That includes family. So if you're lying, if you're manipulative, if you're clearly into witchcraft, if you are a manipulator, if your actions don't co-align with your words, there is no future, there is no relationship. There's not even a friendship with me and you. That's how it would be. Because what I'm learning is that if once you entertain someone, it's no longer being kind, you're being nice. And being nice means you're a doormat. I'm kind, but I have certain standards and expectations with the people around me because my standards, expectations for myself are so high. So if you can't come to me with within a way that reflects my standards and my values, then we can't be friends, we cannot be family, we cannot be anything. And that's where I'm standing right now. Anyone can say anything they want to say, but no one's asked me. And I guess because of how I was walking, what was said kind of looked like that. But this person was never kind to me. He was never respectful of my boundaries. He pushed boundaries from day one. From the time I got, from the time he stopped the car beside me, he didn't respect my boundaries. So anyway, I wanted to set the record straight there. Now that I'm calmer, I can speak a little much more slowly because I'm finding that because I'm talking about these things and revealing how there's people in positions of influence and authority that are able to do things that they shouldn't be able to do. Like decisions are being made about me and for me that have nothing to do with me. Like I'm not involved in them. And that's a problem. And the God that I serve is just. The God that I served is fair. And someone, I believe, is going to jail because too much has happened that makes no sense and has been documented somehow without my input. So I don't know how it's going to go down, but something's going to go down. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share in relations to that. I will continue to reveal some more things about why the Lord has why the Lord is doing what He's doing in my life and the life of other people. We are in a time of harvest, the harvest of souls, and I've said this for the churches that are talking about. Because they're part of a denomination that God's going to come down, pick up that denomination and take them away and not experience anything. I don't know what part of the Bible you're reading. And there's certain churches that are very intellectual, very intelligent. They pick their congregation based on professionalism, and intelligence and moral standard. That church and a couple churches that are like that, you miss the ball. You're going to go through something. And if you haven't been prepared already and gone through a storm of preparation already, you're going to go through something. We're in a time of harvest, the harvest of souls. And this has nothing to do with a particular denomination. This is to do with people who are for God. People who who are going to know they need a savior. People who are parts of false religions for generations gone by. This is the time that we're in. God is bringing people together. He's removing the veil of like hierarchy based on money, based on status, based on whatever else. Jamaica is a very big example of this, where people are coming together from all different walks of life, different statuses to work together. We're in a time of harvest and we're approaching, if not already in the tribulation. There's going to be a lot of things happening in the US right now. The Lord's leading me to understand that it's going to shake the globe. So keep an eye out for that. President Trump, he's almost done. So you can just, the times that you see him, just remember what I'm saying right now. His purpose has been served. All right. Until next time, guys, be blessed.